Greetings, all. Good morning and grand rising. Welcome to another episode of That's Where It's Up, where we talk about perspective and seeing things differently so we can do things differently and get a different result. I am your host, 1000 Watts, aka Kells, and I gotta say, it's truly a pleasure to be here. It's not truly a sunny day here in Florida, but nonetheless, we are shining brightly. I'll be the sun for today. Hopefully. Feeling good, in good space, good spirits. Just want to do a quick check-in, see how you're doing. Make sure you do the check-in, see how you're feeling. Dig your space. If you're not in good space, try and get in some. Just take a quick beat for that. Nice beat for that, especially with the birds chirping behind me. Love doing the podcast outside. You're going to have to deal with the cars going by and the natural sounds and the feels, but keeps me connected to the natural environment, which is actually apropos for our episode today. Today, I am going to talk about one of my favorite topics. People. Yep, that's right, I'm talking about us. We actually make a very fascinating an interesting subject to study. People are very complex, not so simple, sometimes really hard to figure out. We all have our own individuality and our own little idiosyncrasies, but we work through them, and we try and make sure that we get along. Interesting thing that I've found out, and one of the profound things that I've found out about people is that we truly don't know ourselves. We don't. We really don't know ourselves, yet we want to tell the world exactly who we are. We don't know ourselves. We really don't dig deep enough. We don't do enough introspection. I try and do introspection every day. Even if we do, sometimes we don't dig deep enough into our nature. You get in touch with that natural self that's genuinely you and actually be that. Be really who you are. We try and meet expectations of what we believe we're supposed to be. And typically we end up tripping over our own feet in the process of discovering ourselves and trying to do that. That's where we run into the problems, in trying to figure out how to do that. I think every one of us has probably asked that burning question. Why am I here? There's got to be a reason. What is my purpose? It can't be just simply to live and survive and procreate and do this all over again with another generation. No, there's got to be a reason. And that, I believe, ties into our nature. Our purpose ties into our nature. And that's what I want to talk about today. It is my firm belief that it is our nature to grow and develop as an individual and as a species into better human beings. We take in information, we learn about our environment, and we share that information with those that are close to us and others that are important to us so that they can actually learn from that as well. And together we all grow. I think that is what our nature is. That's what we're naturally here to do. How we go about doing that and finding our purpose is usually where we run into the problems. So I, in my infinite wisdom, have come up with a real simple way of answering that burning question. It really falls on making sure you clearly acknowledge and recognize and understand these two facts. And these are facts. Fact number one, our nature is to grow and develop into better people, as an individual and as a species. That is a fact. It is not just simply to survive. It is not just simply to live. It is to live together and grow and develop and learn. That's how we progress through our environment. So that's our nature. That's what we naturally are inclined toward. Our purpose is tied directly to that. And that simply is to contribute toward that end, the growth and development of you as an individual, or me as an individual, let's keep it on me, and as a species. I like to, again, keep it real simple. That's simply what it is. My purpose in life is to contribute toward that end in a positive way. And that's, I think, where we kind of fall into the problems on how we contribute toward that end. I think we can agree with both of those two statements, but how we go about manifesting them and actualizing them, that becomes an issue for us. And again, I've come up with a pretty simple formula for doing that. I'm a pretty simple guy. I like to keep it real simple. So role plus function leads to purpose. Role plus function leads to purpose. And it's really that simple. I can elaborate on it real simply. And I'm going to keep it on me, since I am a human being. The easiest one to use is a subject. I have many roles. I am a son. I am a father. I am a husband. I'm a brother. I'm an uncle. I'm a cousin. And that's roles that are within my family. I'm a friend to many people who I consider dear friends, so they're family to me as well. I am also a motivator. I'm an educator, a facilitator, a teacher. All of these are different roles that I play. Within each one of those roles, there are functions that tie into my life and my interactions with other people. So if I function properly, if I do the activities that I'm supposed to do, functions, properly in my role, it should lead to a harmonious interaction with whoever I'm dealing with. And that would lead to, harmonious relationships. So I have to, first make sure I identify the role properly. And then naturally, of course, make sure I know what's expected of me in that role. Not just from my perspective, but from the other person's perspective as well. Again, remember, it's not what I think it is. It's not what you think it is. It's what other people perceive it to be. So, I have to know how they, the other person, are expecting me to function in that role and meet that expectation. If the expectation is off, if it's a faulty expectation for that role, well, then I have to let them know that. Say, hey, you got me doing something that's not akin to the role that I'm in. That's my responsibility. But typically with people who are close to you and ones that you love, they're not going to be having expectations of you that are not akin to the role. And I'm going to give you an example of that. I'm a brother. I'm also a son, and I'm a cousin. So let's use those three instances and two things that have just occurred recently. I told you recently I went to Houston to celebrate the life of my cousin Dean B. Harris with the Harris family. Beautiful experience, lovely experience. And it was all because of our perspective on how we approach celebrating. For me, I have a role in that. My role is to be a dutiful, loving, sharing, and supportive cousin. And I played that role. I believe I played it very well. I functioned in it as I was supposed to, and they recognized that. The genuineness, the love, and it was felt, and it was exchanged, and we had a great time. It led to a beautiful experience, harmonious relationship with them. I just simply played my role and functioned in it properly. Same thing recently. I went to New York for Thanksgiving with my wife. I had a great time. Spent time with my brother and his family for Thanksgiving. Spent time with my daughters. Saw Danielle and Lori. I had a chance to sit and talk with Rudy. Had a chance to spend time with my parents, walking through the city, experiencing some fun stuff that we hadn't done in years. Even had a chance to see a friend. In each one of those interactions, there are roles that I play. There are functions that I have to do as a dutiful son, or as a doting father, or a loving, caring friend, or a loyal brother. I make sure that I, in my actions, meet those expectations so that our interaction during those times are valued. Why? Because I value my family. I love them. I want to do, I want to do great and good things, so that they're happy. I want to do great and good things for them. So for me, it's important to be a good brother, to play my role as a brother very well, to be a dutiful son and play my role as a son very well, and function properly in those roles, to be a loving and caring and supportive cousin. Again, you play your role properly, function properly in that role, it leads to that harmonious outcome. So, real simple take on that one. But again, how does all of that tie into purpose? Well, I think we all can agree that we want to have these harmonious relationships with just about everyone that we deal with, because it reduces the problems. If I am operating with a wrong expectation, or I'm not functioning properly in my role, the person has an expectation of me, and I don't change that, I don't rectify that or modify that, that's ultimately going to lead to the severance of our relationship. Our relationship would be doomed, because the person's going to get very frustrated. They're going to get disenchanted with me and my activities, and they're going to say, you know what, Kelly, I'm tired of you, man. Kick rocks. And I'll be like, what did I do? Well, I wasn't doing the introspection and looking at my role and checking the expectation that they had of me in that role and functioning properly. If I'd just taken a step back and dug myself, did the introspection, again, I do the introspection every day. I ask myself 3 questions. I'll elaborate on those in another episode. But I ask myself 3 questions, answer them, and then reflect on that. It puts me in the right frame and space to move forward with my day. It keeps me right focused. So it works for me. But it also helps me in understanding the roles that I have and the functions that I play in those roles and how I'm supposed to function in them. Case in point, I'm a husband. I do my introspection and meditation in the morning. Part of the reason why I do that is to get myself in the right space for the day. The first person who I interact with is my wife. Do I want to wake her up like, hey, come on, get up, it's time to get up? No, I don't want to do that. I wouldn't want to be woken up like that. I prefer to wake her up like, hey, good morning, Mom. How are you? It's time to wake up. Yeah, I know. Time to go to work. So what do I have to do? I have to get up about a half an hour, 45 minutes before she does, so that I can go through my meditation, my reflection. I can do my yoga. I can get myself in the right space to wake her up in the right space. And that works very well every morning. That's just my operating mode. But again, back to purpose. So what does all that have to do with my purpose? Playing my role and functioning properly in my role. It all ties into the 3 spheres. Those of you who know me know I talk about the 3 spheres. We have 3 spheres that we operate in. I like to designate them as personal, social, and work. Those are the 3 worlds that we operate in. The personal sphere, or the personal face that I put on, is not the same face that I put on at work. I may overmesh a little bit with those, and you may get some of my true personal, but that personal face that I have at home is surely not the one I walk out the door with. Be honest, be real. We put on the best face that we can when we walk out the door, try and represent ourselves very well in public. At home, man, I'm kicking back in sweatpants and a wife beater, and I don't care if I got a booger hanging out my nose. So be it. I'll get a tissue and clean it up. But when I walk out in the street, best believe, no, I want to look, good and proper. So that's what I mean with purpose. Going back to role and function, and where that fits into the 3 spheres. In the middle of the work, personal, and social spheres, you have what's called the sweet spot. For me, my sweet spot's pretty big. I work from home, so my work is tied to my personal life. As you see, I'm doing a podcast now, so that's tied to my social life as well. So that sweet spot just got a little bigger for me. What I want to try and do is make sure I merge those three circles together and expand the sweet spot in the middle. And through that expansion and playing my role, functioning properly in each one of them, and having these harmonious relationships with others, I end up finding my purpose. I have found mine. I'm doing it right now. My purpose is just simply to share the experiences that I have learned in the 55 years of doing life with other people so that I can have a dialogue with them so that we can grow together. That is my purpose. That's why I became an educator. That's why I became a facilitator. That's why I became a motivator. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing right now. And I'm living my purpose every day, and I love it. When you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. It's just the thing that you're passionate about doing, and you happen to get paid for it. Not getting paid yet, but hey, we'll see what happens with that. And even if I don't, it doesn't make a difference. I'm still living my purpose, and that's what makes a difference to me. So I found mine. I can't tell you what yours is. You have to put that work in. You got to do the introspection yourself. You got to check your roles. Make sure you're functioning properly in those roles and leading to those harmonious relationships. And make sure you clearly identify what those three spheres are for you. It may be more than three. It may be four. It may be five. Who knows? Whatever. But you need to make sure that you identify them and find that sweet spot and then start to bring those spheres together so that you expand that sweet spot in the middle. Within that sweet spot, functioning properly in your roles and functioning well, you're going to find exactly what your purpose is, and all you need to do after that is live it. Live it, be it, do it. Because that's what's up. It's that simple, at least from my perspective. Well, thanks for tuning in. Love to hear your feedback. Love to hear your comments, so please give them to me. A shout out to my man Brian Henry Lloydson, who has afforded me the opportunity to do some intro and outro music. So make sure you check his CD. Intro song was Tequila Fever. Outro song is Voodoo Butte Blues. Again, thanks for tuning in. Keep tuning in. And please keep giving me your feedback and keep it positive. Peace and blessings.